Hello, friends, and welcome back to Spaces Between. Today, I'm going to talk about what I've learned in 2021. There's 40 lessons, so I guess buckle up for this. There's a lot. Number one, the number one thing that I've learned this year is that if you don't create stillness or silence for yourself in your life, it's hard to feel connected to yourself, others, and life force energy. Everything will be mitigated to external experiences, feedback, and looping of the mental mind and ego. Truly, the space between is the most delicious space to inhabit. Number two, my meditation practice has gone to a whole new level this year. I was telling one of my clients, it's hard to talk about menial things in life or at dinner parties when you just want to scream to mountaintops that everyone should be having orgasmic meditations. And I'm not talking about a sexual orgasm, which, yes, that can happen, but more the transcendent state of where you feel beyond your identity, beyond your body. That you feel so plugged into source energy because you are that energy and you won't want to be doing anything else. Of course, I've also had to take inventory of becoming addicted to this feeling or overly attached, as Vipassana meditation will challenge becoming overly attached to any feeling or state of being. But you know what? Even if I'm addicted, I'm totally okay with that because it's better than any substance I've ever done in my life, any external validation, and power outside of myself. It is completely about tapping into my own power and creating my life from that space of clarity and connection. There's my dog, Lou. Number three, which brings me to prepping for an ayahuasca ceremony for 1 month, which was one of the most uncomfortable, confronting, and beautiful months of the entire year. It was amazing to leap into a space with complete faith to confront my fears of the unknown and, dare I say, fear of what God would show me in ceremony. Only then for God to show me lovingly and gently and beautifully in a meditation that all medicine lives within us. Some humans very much need to do the dance with plant medicine to heal, but you have to do the work after and you have to integrate. And you must commit to a daily practice, which brings me to number 4, committing to a daily practice. So let me repeat something. Daily compassionate practice. It is not meant to be militant. You fall off the horse and you get back on, so to speak. You get tired of doing the work and sometimes you need to just be. Part of this commitment to self is to do a solid inventory in your life to see what is good for you and what isn't. This could be friends, a relationship, food, alcohol, working out too much or too little, meditating or not, needing to start a morning practice, and that could be as simple as a glass of water before coffee. And this leads me next to alcohol and caffeine. Number 5. This was an immense lesson for myself. When I did the dieta for 1 month prepping for ayahuasca, I had to commit to myself in ways I hadn't ever. I couldn't remember the last time I took a month off of caffeine, dairy, meat, and alcohol all at the same time. Some of you may be kind of laughing at this because maybe you've done it for years. But anyways, within that time, I was also throwing in hour-long meditations, a gratitude practice, and hiking in the mountains behind my house. I literally felt like I was walking on ecstasy for days on end. There was such a brightness and a lightness to myself. So obviously I have indulged in one or a few of the above again, but the biggest lesson to me is becoming so sensitive and aware in your body that you can actually tell what's working for you or not working for you in your life. Number 6. I like to surround myself with authentic and honest humans. I'm trying really hard in my life to live with integrity and honesty on the daily. I'm in a continual filtering process of What doesn't and who doesn't bring me joy and reciprocal energy in life. It sounds kind of brutal, and it's not meant to be, but I think as everyone gets older, you dive into this filtering process a bit more, because who you surround yourself with and what you surround yourself with is incredibly important. Number 7, long-term intimate relationships are work. But the most important word is getting curious with the work instead of feeling like it is pure drudgery. Having fun doing it while you and your partner push the edges of growth in your relationship. I feel so grateful to have a partner who can truly witness and hold space for my inner landscape. Another thing my partner said to me recently when we were both pretty sick with a cold or flu, and we were both semi-disgusting from taking too many supplements and sitting around just farting. And he looks at me and he goes, "Babe, it's really good we can love each other when we aren't on the red carpet, because this is the greater portion of life." I laughed my ass off, both at how gross we were and that we live in our sweats working from home, which is the furthest thing from glamorous and the red carpet. Number 8. Another thing that I've learned in relationships this year, both intimate and not, is that everyone just wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be validated. How can we listen without judgment? How can we actually hear each other? Jonas and I's couples therapist said to us in the last session, if you two can't hear each other on this topic without othering the other, how does this relate to the rest of the world and how polarized we are right now? Which brings me to one of the most heated topics of the year. Oof, I feel myself kind of get like, am I going to talk about this right now? Vaccines. Wow. Did you ever think in your entire life that you'd talk and debate so much about a vaccine? That friendships and relationships would get ruined? That you would maybe not be invited into somebody's house? The most interesting part for me is that I've been on both sides. I can feel everyone take a shallow breath as I say this, or maybe just I am. Because I had COVID and was not reading many articles on reinfections, I'm not saying this to debate right now. I'm just speaking about where I was at the time. I didn't see a whole lot on reinfections, and my girlfriend who worked in the ER didn't as well. So her and I both had actually taken some time to get the vaccine because we both had COVID pretty severely. And while I was down at St. John's seeing a gynecologist, she had told me that she saw very strange side effects for women in their cycles, and it was not in my best interest for fertility, but that I should get it anyways. So I felt a lot of mixed feelings. I really wasn't one way or the other. I was confused. And I think in the hardest part of it is people weren't allowed to be confused. There were many times that I found myself in heated debates at dinner parties where I wanted to just crawl under a rock. Ultimately, I got the vaccine because I did feel a certain amount of pressure, responsibility, and I didn't want to add to the divide of the energy anymore. I also didn't want to be that one asshole who got reinfected and ended up in the hospital. Did I intuitively believe this in my body? Not really. I believe in the intelligence of the body and immunity to those who had been exposed to COVID, but I also believe that COVID is a wicked beast, being one who's experienced it firsthand and its unpredictability. So I was over the debate. And from my perspective, both sides live in fear and live in judgment of the other. And I really just wanted to get to a space of feeling okay. So I got it. And at the end of the day, I feel like we're all fragments of God. So when people have said to me, like, what's this going to do to your health, or you're microchipped, or what, all the different things that go around. And this is not to undermine anybody who hasn't gotten vaccinated at all. I really do. I see the validity of both sides. And at the end of the day, I just don't feel that powerless as a fragment of source energy that a vaccine is going to take me out. I know there are some that believe that. So as I wrap up this little section on vaccines. I really hope as you listen to me, whatever came up for you in the body, if I pissed you off or you felt like, oh, I'm not listening to Gina anymore, she's an asshole, just taking notice of that and taking notice of judgment or hot feelings in the body and where they come from. And again, everybody's allowed to have their own opinions, and I deeply believe that. So moving on to number 10. I think this one is just funny because everyone in 2021 was suddenly the best researcher of everything, and we were all scientists. I love this quote from Bo Burnham. If you watched that documentary that he did in 2020, I believe it was called Inside. And he says, can't everyone just shut the F up about everything for 1 minute? He may have made this back in that year, but I think it's still relevant for 2021. I think sometimes we can take a break from needing to always express. All right, number 11. I turned 40 this year. It really made me think about how much I lead a non-traditional life. I'm not married. I don't have children. I often think I'm fine without both, but sometimes I still fantasize about them or yearn for them. Societal imprinting is real on the definitions of what it means to be a woman. But then I also remind myself that I live a life with a lot of joy, deep connection, love, freedom, and fun. I do it on my terms, and I think that makes some people uncomfortable. But I've learned to not really care, and I've chosen a partner who mirrors that. Number 12. I'm sure I've been redundant about this, and my friends definitely have heard me say this, but I still think social media is really unhealthy for society, and the reason that so many people feel disconnected. Humans have an incredibly hard time being present as it is. But when we live our life on our screens and are sold to, pandered to, and curated to, it's really hard to not be overstimulated and have your nervous system barraged with information all day. Do I think it's all bad? No, but I do think it's a greater part of the divide than the bridge. Number 13, I bought a house, and the down payment was all of the therapy sessions that I've done over the years. It felt incredibly empowering to do that, and I have felt the circular energy and relationship of working with those clients whom I love foundationally added to my home. Number 14, if you don't establish some mastery with your mind, it will be the master of you. Number 15, as Italian and pleasure-seeking as I am in my life, I'm learning that discipline in some areas are essential in the evolution of your soul. Number 16, you are your own best healer, and the medicine lives within you. But you must get still, silent, spend some time in nature, and do a thorough scan in your life of what is not serving you anymore. Number 17, healing my mother wound is a lifetime journey. What is my mother wound, you might ask, and many other women's? Being a consummate caretaker, people pleaser, putting my needs last, feeling that my looks or my body define me as a woman, or feeling less than in society. You know, those minor intergenerational traumas that we've taken on from our mothers' mothers and the messages from the patriarchy. This will be a continual practice and healing journey. Number 18, caretaking myself over other people always. I don't need to be everyone's emotional caretaker, period. Number 19, paying deep attention to what I want and need in my life. Number 20, that learning how to not engage in self-abandonment, self-judgment, and living with more self-compassion is a lifelong journey. 21, it is not selfish to make choices that preserve my energy, capacity, and well-being. 22, we keep repeating patterns in life, and the universe will continue to present lessons to reinforce that pattern until you get it. A lot of times, quote unquote, getting it is actually about bringing love, presence, and attention to the pattern instead of trying to eradicate it or get rid of it. 23, This year, I have become hyper aware of our society's drive towards money and power. Even spiritual teachers who get bigger or become more famous start to lose a bit of integrity, truth, and alignment. It becomes more about courses, money, fame versus actually healing the individual and collective. 24. It all lives in the tissues of your body. Your cells listen to the way you speak to yourself as well as how you speak to others. It's all energy. 25. Embodiment practices are so radically important for getting connected to yourself and in your body to feel the past traumas and really get present so that space can breathe and move through the charged material. 26. A journal entry from 2021. Oh, what a lovely day it has been. Truly something that I needed. Silence and stillness. What an absolute joy. How interesting it is to witness the inner workings of my mind all day, always pawing at the future or gnawing at the past. It is quite the task to be here now. 27. A quote from my boyfriend after my 40th birthday. Well, you got off track on some of your intentions, but you were able to do most of it. I'm so grateful to have a partner who can shine a light on my victories, and even when I fall off the horse of intentions, helps me soften shaming or blaming myself. 28. Lean into your higher self, Gina. The self that is the larger part of me and the cosmos and beyond all of those feelings that this is not fair or this feels unjust. It just is. 29. We need a deep revival of art, music, and creativity in this world that is not just online. We need this to express ourselves and stay sane. 28. Not giving something external all of my power, a lesson I will also continually need to learn. 29. Constantly tuning into my inner guidance and surrendering to a plan for the highest evolution of my soul, that which I cannot control. Number 30. My therapist/spiritual mentor said to me earlier this year, even becoming a fully realized being, Gina, will not solve life. 31. I prefer silence over any big social event these days and more intimate small gatherings to really connect with people. 32. Another beautiful quote from my boyfriend Jonas. Fear is an element that prevents us from letting go. We're fearful if we let go, we have nothing else to cling to. Letting go is a practice, it's an art. Now that I'm reading this out loud, he might have read that from Thich Nhat Hanh, but he shared it with me in a very poignant moment where I was experiencing a lot of fear. Number 32, I'm going to start listening and responding from the space of my heart. 33, every damn day of being alive is ceremony, and how can I practice ritual in my life? 34, life is life. Life will be uncomfortable, life will have suffering, and large events that sweep the rug out from under me. Equanimity and ease are the words of 2021. 35, bringing gratitude, truth, and softness to my relationship with Jonas. Never in my life have I truly understood being the instrument that can change the tune or the music being made in the relationship, and this year I finally did. 36. An intuitive recently said to me, you're doing great in life, Gina. You've healed a lot of these constricted traumas in your body. Also, you help resurrect people from an emotional death. All of these statements made me cry deeply. 37. There is real beauty in these three statements that I have learned this year. Healing is nuanced, the beauty of timing, being versus seeking. 38. Keeping your nervous regulated in life is massive, massive, massive. Breath work, journaling, meditation, nonlinear movement, so you can engage in the sacred pause, responding versus reacting in your life. 39. Feel all of your feelings. Number 40. Are you awake or are you asleep? So I hope as you listen to these things that I've learned in 2021, it helped you reflect on some things that you've learned over this last year. I think it's really important to do an inventory at the end of each year of areas where we have grown, where we've regressed, progressed, and everything in between. So, and doing it with love and compassion, and then really setting intentions for 2022. Thank you so much for listening and sending lots of love your way. Hi, friends. If you have been enjoying Spaces Between, please take a moment to subscribe, and leaving a review is the cherry on top. Thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting with you next week.